Nintendo's hybrid console has gone through a good number of changes over the years. We had the security and battery improvement in 2019, as well as the new Switch Lite, and not long ago the OLED version. But not everyone can change their hardware every few years, like me. So, with the Switch birthday incoming, I want to make this video on how time has treated my console after almost 6 years. I'm Gorgio, and welcome to this channel. If you enjoyed this type of content, make sure to switch up that subscribe button. It's looking kinda pale over there. We are back on March 3rd, 2017. The Switch just released and everyone is hyped. 16-year-old Gorgio is waiting to buy his, but unfortunately had to wait 2 months to finally get it. This console means a lot to me because it was actually one of the first things I actually bought by myself. Or that's what I would like to say. You see, it was weird for me to have this amount of money, which I earned selling cookies. So, my mother decided to help me so I didn't spend it all at once. Thanks, Mom. Pretty cool. So as you might have guessed, I treated this thing as a god. But even gods have their problems. After enjoying a few months with my Switch, the prophecy became true. The one, the only, the infamous Joy-Con drift. Since it happened in the first year, I sent it to warranty. The process was tedious, the wait even worse, but that did not stop me. I could still play some games, thanks to my GameCube adapter. Emphasis in some. So yeah, the drift was the first problem I had, and it's the one I've had to constantly deal with over the years. Even now, that led to getting more Joy-Cons, learning how to fix them myself, even f***ing up some of them. But that's something we already know about, so let's move on. Apart from the drift, I recall having 2 other major issues with it. One was early 2021. I plugged my Switch after not playing with it for almost 1 year. Black screen. Nothing. I say, okay, this is normal for a device that has not been charged after a very long time, right? So I leave it there and wait. 2 hours, 3 hours, still no response. I'm getting worried. How did this happen? I was getting paranoid and sad because I literally did nothing. I check on it from time to time, only to find that same black screen. But when I was about to go to sleep, I finally saw that little battery icon on the top left. Like it took a whole day for that thing to appear. And after that the Switch worked perfectly fine. Like it was charging fine, the battery was fine. Like it just threw me off that it took that long to start responding. The second issue is a thing that I recall having from the beginning, but I think it's getting worse because I'm complaining about it. And it's the rails. They sometimes disconnect my controller. It's like I'm back at the 64 era when the cartridges didn't want to work. This might be even worse than drift because it doesn't happen that often for me to actually want to replace that part, but it happens just enough for me to get annoyed by it. With that, we have covered every great problem my Switch had over the last 6 years. But it doesn't end here. For the next section we had things that didn't age well. Starting with the stand. which is gonna lose over time, but I mean, it still stays on its place and can do its work, but you just have to be very careful with it. I just prefer lay it on to something else. Next we have the display and sound. I do not own an OLED Switch to do a comparison, but when it comes to sound, only when you're like in public places and there's a lot of ambient sound or even music, that's when you can't actually hear almost nothing. But I mean, this is very occasional. I've gotten mad at this very few times, and now with the option to connect the Bluetooth headphones makes this almost meaningless, really. On the other hand, I absolutely cannot play with the freaking sun on my screen. Like, increasing the brightness is not an option because I have to optimize the battery consumption. So when having the opportunity to play outside, I have to choose between being weird by covering myself with something to see the screen, or simply not play. I know the OLED version covered this quality of life improvement, so if you prefer handheld mode like me and are annoyed by these issues, I would recommend that console. Or wait for the Switch 2 if you're into that stuff. Anyway, there is one aspect that I would like to highlight, but in a good way, and that is the battery. Even though this is not improved battery, it still performs decently well, with some minor tweaks. By decreasing brightness and also turning on airplane mode, will make the battery last between 2 to 3 hours with games like Breath of the Wild. Despite all of its problems, I spent hundreds of hours playing with the Switch. I take it everywhere I go, and I cannot express enough all the great times it gave me, with friends, with family, even on my own. The Switch really was a game changer, and let's hope Nintendo keeps bringing us experiences like this. Nintendo Direct! That probably already happened by the time I upload these videos, so let's go and sell the Tears of the Kingdom. Woo! I'm just being stupid right now. That's it for me. If you reached this part of the video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And let me know, how is your Switch doing? What kind of problems did you have in the past and problems that you're having right now? So that's it, and see you next time.